Well, hello there. So today I decided to continue working on my little configuration thing for MD format decision logic thing. For a table cell when I was writing smaller kind of functions to determine if a value is of a if it matches some condition I want to write. So, and I was playing around with this stuff. You've probably seen my MD logic previous videos. It's not a tutorial, but experimentation. So I did want to make this language kind of work on stack. But since my lack of knowledge of Rust is such severe, I ended up breaking up code slightly in simpler operands. So like in let me tell you about this quickly. So I decided to use a standard Babel-like in the JavaScript AST node kind of structure. So I would have operator. So is it a plus sign or whatever, multiplication? And on the left of it, so there would be, let's say, B, and on the right of it would be a C in this example. And on the right of it could be a number, or there could be a string if I'm going to work with strings, and there might be even a list. So technically there might be an entire scope on the right, which would be added to another number. So this is my simple structure. It's not complete. And I didn't work with a stack. I used as a good old recursion. So whenever I encounter a parent, I'm creating I'm calling the same scope thing and blah blah blah, and adding the thing to a root node that I have up here. And yeah, I'm adding the freshly created child um, to a list of things over here. I need to check constantly if I'm adding to a list actually. So add to node here. I'm passing the root, but it's of type operand, right? So yeah, I'm matching against a list, and I'm getting a reference to a mutable list inside the operand list, and I'm passing on the incoming child. So I'm kind of reusing that in several places, add to node and add to that. So 2 places. But since again I was not that familiar with inner types of operations with Rust, I ended up using as an iterator an actual usize index. So I kind of used that in one of my previous attempts to understand how Rust works, and yeah, I kind of passed the immutable usize thing. I'm starting with 0, I'm passing that here, and I have to keep track of it. And when I pass some rule here, I have to increment it, then pass it on and on and on, and then I have to iterate it here. And then with that index, I have to do this. Access something over this. So this already caused me some issues. I forgot to increment it, and I ended up using indefinitely the recursion. But as a good developer, I always learn, and I actually found a cool tutorial, Intro to Rust Lang, building the DOM HTML parser from tensor programming. And this guy here, he's using iterators to actually iterate the thing. And let me show you, where was it? When he passes So when he creates a parser, he creates from the chars, he has a iterator where he could call next on the iteration item, and it would just give him the character in place. And this time around, I'm actually gonna play with iterators. So this code here, it does work for me right now, but I don't want to keep track of the index and access stuff by index. But if you see here at the result, if you look at the result, I'm getting the a list of items, right? And immediately, as it states here, there's another embedded list as a first item, where the first thing is a string A. Then there's the string plus. I haven't created the operands themselves. I'm not parsing those yet. So after plus, there is another list, B and C. So B multiply C, the list ends. After that, we're getting a minus. So this is a minus. And there's another, it will be a variable, of course, D. Then the list ends because the parent closes. And we are supposed to have plus one. So again, I might have missed some iteration thing here. So yeah, that happened. So I want to check how this stuff would work, because I would not need to actually do this weird thing over here, expression by unreferenced index, which is usize. I would only need to have a iterator paused somewhere deeper. I mean, I will create a structure to hold all these variables, but since I'm playing around, I don't need to structure them because I might end up ditching my struct in the future. So yeah, so I want to learn iterators a bit. And so as it states here, there's a possibility to create iterator from this thing. And I'm going to play around with it slightly. Maybe in Playground. So let's start playing in Playground. On a second thought, let's not jump to Rust Playground. Let's just try and code it. So since I'm gonna fail a lot, I'm gonna use just a portion of my code that I have in here, and this is literally just this portion. All right, so I will just have unused code in here. That's fine. So so this is chars collect. So I guess I need to have an iterator of my v, initial vector of chars iterator. So so this is so I tried to look in advance a bit how this thing works, but I didn't test it yet. So this is my opportunity to fail right in front of you. So apparently the iterator needs to be mutable because every time we go to next item, so in here, so it gets iterator of this array, advanced by 2. I'm not sure what that is. Flatten can do something. Okay. So next would, so 2. Okay, it went by 2 items further, and then the next thing it has is a reference to sum3. So I want to print out the iterator thing. All right. Let mute muy iter equals v iter, and I guess that's it. Oh, can I actually loop? Make it in a loop? I guess I can, yeah. With a while or something. Is there an example where I could just okay, because I kind of need to pass the current iterator in multiple recursions. Where's the while? Oh, wrong. No, this is not what I want. All right, let's just fail and write it. So I guess I can do while. Come on, the wrong mode. While sum is it while let? Let's fail a lot. While sum, so there's a reference. A char, so it's going to be C. Equals iter next. Let's do a print line, and current item is going to be the C. Okay, please compile. Shit. Oh, freaking copy paster. So V. I love it how it found a similar name to B, which is a V. How does it do it? I don't know. Cargo run. All right, so apparently I was able to find the iteration thing. So this is how it does it. Okay. This is actually really cool. So I'm guessing if I pass my current iterator, a mutable iterator here, instead of the index, I should be able to work directly in here. So this would be a while. This would be a while. See, I've got multiple loops inside, So this scope make will do its one loop with the index, and we pass the index to this thing further, scope make, and this I gets increased every time we go inside. So that's fine. So this should be replaced by the iterator, and I'm just curious if I could do this for if I call another I iterator in several steps and do iter next, which would simulate um, internal recursion stuff that I do. So this should technically work because iterator will hold its own position inside the array iteration and result in finishing this outer thing faster. It will result in finishing it faster. So it did. It skipped a bunch of things. I can safely pass stuff in. Well, this is very, very cool. And this is already a mutable thing, so I could just work with it. Alright. So I'm gonna fail quickly with this. Use this. Don't use this. Alright. So I'm not gonna use this. I'm gonna pass a iter. And what would be the type? Enumerate self. Yeah, I would need to actually know the type of the stuff I'm doing, so I think they don't show it because the type is inferred. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the stupid version of implementation. I'm gonna make a error. I'm gonna make an error, and then from error I'm gonna pass the thing in here. All right, and this is going into no. This is going into comment. Let's try that. Slice iterator. Found std slice iter char. So thank you, Rust. I guess I'm gonna copy paste this stuff and I am going to just remove that and paste that. Oh, come on. Did I copy it? I guess my deleting stuff in there. All right. So this is this. All right. So it will obviously fail. Oh yeah. All right. How long is this gonna last now? I'm not sure. But I don't like those eyes. So while this, I'm just gonna straight up and copy that. Yank. All right. O and P. And I did P before this. So while yeah, we don't have iter, we just have I. So this technically should be the C for char. We don't need that. But we still need to I next. All right. So we still pass this. So this is still a mutable mutable reference. This is a mutable reference still. This is not this anymore. This should be next to, because it's an iterator. Technically this expression I. So we've got a C, right? Oh, come on. C to string. All right, so this is nonsense now because we've got iterator, right? So dd, 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 and this goes away because now we do just I next. Why is the helper not helping? Okay, those are fixed, I hope. Yeah, so this is C, all right. Add to node, this is still using the C from iterator, right? Yeah, I hope I didn't mess up way too much. If it compiles, I'm going to be really happy. Unhappy. Okay, 42, line 42. What did I forget? 42. All right, so if the C character is still a closing parent, and we do this, yeah. So the code looks kind of smaller. Yep. Yep. Shit. What else? cannot borrow as mutable. This thing is already immutable stuff. As you wish, master. Do this. Please work. Okay, apparently it did something. A list. Let's actually go up. So list, there's an A. There's something with a B. Oh no, wait, a multiplication. So this thing cut corners quite a bit, but it still produced something that I wanted. Alright, whenever we enter here, it already jumps. So when we go into recursion, it already jumps. So I don't need this anymore. And we already passed this. Oh, I sound British today. And actually, I don't even need this, because every time the loop continues, it jumps even further. Alright, cool. So list, so there's the, let's have example up there. So we enter a list, so there's our list. Then we enter another list as a first item in there. Oh, so this is a root of all the items on the root level. Then there's another list for storing another list, where the first item is A, second item is plus, third item is B, a list of B multiplied by C array. Then there's a minus sign, which is here. Then there's the D closing another list plus 1. So yeah, I made my code work with iterator now. So this could be removed. Alright, and what else? Yeah, let's add some empty lines so that I could jump code faster. Well, cool. I didn't consider that it would be this much faster. And look at the code, it's now smaller. I don't care if it works faster or not, it's just smaller. So I guess next time I will be actually composing a proper like consideration of which items should be worked on faster, because I will need to make sense of this. Like I will need to run the code with some provided A, some provided B, some provided C values, and make it execute and produce some output. So this is a huge step. I got my parser working, and I guess behind the scenes I'm gonna add this to a struct, because the code now is actually usable. So again, big thanks to a person who made Tensor Programming Channel. By watching him parsing HTML in Rust with all the subnodes and everything else that there is to parse HTML DOM data, I was able to, for myself, make sense how iterators work, by his example, and it's actually quite cool. I would not be able to do it with the stack system I was planning to. So I hope this wasn't too annoying of a session, and see you next time.